10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Baby, I'm not naive. I know this could hurt me. It might be temporary, but I say you and me diving in deep in.
Hello and welcome to Chats, and I believe this is episode 15, and today I've got a young lady that has come out rocking. Her debut album was called Ride or Die, so she made a statement from the outset. She's had some wonderful singles. We're going to talk about all of her singles. Her latest single is called My Heart to Break, and that was released on June 7th. I'm talking about Kora Naughton, and today Dax Chats with Kora Naughton. Here she is right now. G'day, Kora.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great, as far as we can be great. I mean, it's been a whirlwind of a year so far, hasn't it?
It absolutely has. Honestly, I went into 2020 thinking this is going to be my year. I'm going to be so busy, and I ended up being less than that. But you know what? It hasn't been too bad. I've been kind of rolling with it.
Yeah, well, we all have to roll with the punches, and I suppose you've done that in a very interesting way. But we'll get onto that very shortly. Before we get onto that, let's just go back and introduce Kora Naughton and how it all came about, because this goes out to the world. We're going out to Canada, America, the whole lot. So people are going to find out about Kora all across the world.
Yeah, look, I started this music thing when I was maybe 14, and I ended up going to the Tamworth Country Music Festival in 2017, and it's been a wild ride. I think that moment was the moment I decided I wanted to do country music, and from there I came back to Tamworth for the Junior Academy of Country Music in the same year, and then I came back every year since for the festival and for Hats Off. I did there a few times. I actually just did the virtual Hats Off this year, which was different. But yeah, I launched my first album in 2018, and yeah, it's kind of just been taking everything as it comes and making it happen.
So yeah, let's. So obviously you started this music journey because you had an injury as a cheerleader or something.
Yeah, well, that's I guess for me, I did cheerleading for probably 8 or 9 years. And it wasn't like, this is what I wanted to do or my career or anything like that. But it was something I enjoyed doing, and something that for me was my outlet. And when I couldn't do that anymore, I had to find a new outlet, which is why I kind of got into music and I guess started writing songs more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you've written some wonderful songs. Obviously, the first song was called "Wrong." The second song was called "I Don't Want to Grow Up." Oh, I tell you what, I don't think anybody wants to grow up.
Honestly,
and it was
sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. It was a really fitting song because it was about you going through school, and if leaving school and adult life was going to be this hard, then I don't want to grow up.
Yeah, and look, since I've left school, Australia's had bushfires and coronavirus and all sorts, and honestly, if it's going to be this hard, I just kind of want to go back,
Absolutely. And then you launched the album with the song "Ride or Die," which is the title track from the album, and that was a killer song. That was a great track.
It was something very different for me. Like, I'd released "Wrong," which was so kind of soft and very singer-songwriter, and then "I Don't Want to Grow Up," which was very much about what I was going through at the time. And then Ride or Die was just a big rock track with punchy and all about having fun. It was, I guess, what the whole album was. You know, it was so diverse, but for me, it was a ride or die moment, which is why I wrote this song, because it was literally all or nothing for me.
That's it, and that's what you've expressed in the whole album, and it's on your bio on the website. It was like, this is my make or break. I have to put everything I can into this and hope it sticks. You know.
Absolutely.
Now I need to ask you about the next track that came out. That was a very strange one. You wrote a murder ballad called Ravenswood Lane. Tell me about that track.
I did. A lot of people were very concerned when I told them I think I was 14 when I wrote Ravenswood Lane. And it's all about this murder mystery, and this, obviously it says this little girl has died and you're trying to figure out, you know, who's done it and kind of thing. I guess for me, I'd written so many songs about what I'd felt or what I was going through or what I'd seen somebody else go through, but I always loved as a kid creative writing. So when I sat down on that specific day, all I wanted to do was write a story. So I guess Wood Lane for me was just me being creative, getting out of my head a little bit and telling a story.
Wow, and what a story it was. I mean, you came out with a whole amazing film clip behind it and everything else. But it was one of those. It was a shock moment for a lot of people, wasn't it? It was like, what is Kora doing? You know, she's done this. She's got into this rock edge, and we're loving the rock edge. We're loving the and then this murder ballad came out, and people are like, oh no.
Really on their toes.
you do, and the album was hugely successful, and then of course in late 2019 you brought out your first single from your new project, Speechless. Talk to us about Speechless.
Yeah, so Speechless was kind of, for me, the first song that I was really, really comfortable in my own skin when I released it. I guess when I released Ride or Die, you know, I'm so happy with the songs and I'm so proud of them and I wouldn't change it for the world. But I didn't really know who I was as an artist, and that's why between the 10 tracks on that album, there are probably 10 different genres. And it's me trying to figure out who I was and where I fit into the industry. And I think for me, moving into this next project, this upcoming album that I've got happening, that I've been working on, I've been so much more confident and knowing what I want in everything that I do. So I went into the studio with the song Speechless, and I kind of knew how it was all going to come out before it even started. I was so excited when I heard it that I just kind of just clicked. I was like, I knew that this was going to be really fun and really great for me. So it was the start of this next project, which I think is what made Speechless so exciting for me.
Well, I guess you know, from you starting from such a young age, it's very hard to know who you are and, you know, where you fit into a mold at that stage, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one, about where you fit in, and also I guess for me, as you grow up, you change a lot. You know, I've had experiences that have changed me from who I was however many years ago. I started this 3 years ago. You know, Ride or Die is coming up to its 2 year. I think it just hit its 2 year anniversary.
2 year anniversary, yeah.
Anniversary. And it feels like another life for me. So that music at the time was representative of who I am, and for me now, this music is representative of a new chapter in my life. And I think every artist, you know, is a bit like that. They change through time. But when you're young, it feels like it's changing so much quicker, because one minute you're all stressed about HSC exams and the next you're in the workforce, you know, it's all changing. Yeah, I guess for me, being so young, it was changing a lot, which is why my music is so different.
But during all of that, it's amazing how you shined because you did go through being a young artist and having and having to do your HSC and stuff like that I didn't see a moment where you were struggling. Like you always showed that you were in control.
Look, I tried my very hardest to be in control. I'm not going to lie, there were moments where I was like, no way, I can't do this. I think I had 4 or 5 gigs in the matter of a couple of HSC exams, in the middle of them. And it was super stressful and I didn't know what to do with myself. But at the end of the day, I really wanted to make it work, so I did.
Fantastic. Excellent. Now, your brand new single is called My Heart to Break. Now, tell us about the new song and tell us about, obviously, because of the pandemic, you had to do things in a different way. So you actually did the single launch virtually. So tell us about the whole experience.
Yeah, so I guess starting with how the song came about, for me, I had the title of the song, My Heart to Break, stuck in my head, and I was trying to figure out, what to write about. And obviously the song is about a relationship, but I think in broader terms for me, this song was all about what you're doing with your life and everything that you want to do and the things that people keep telling you not to do. And for me, it's like, people, not so much the people, I have heaps of supporters, family, friends, everything like that support me to no end. But there were people who were like, Kora, why aren't you going to university? Why aren't you getting a real job? You're going to do music. And I'm like, well, this is my real job, And I guess for me, it was like, this is my chance to take. And this song is, all about that kind of thing. It's my chance to take, and it's either going to go really, really well or really, really bad. And at the end of the day, you have to be prepared for people to say they told you so if it does end up bad. But you're never going to know if you don't try it. And I guess for me, that's what this song's all about.
Correct, and you're absolutely correct. I mean, this stigmatism that the arts have had for years and years and years, generations and generations, and people coming to you and saying, "Why don't you go to university? Why don't you get a real job?" This is a job. This is a full-time business. This is. This is a career that can last a lifetime if people allow it to.
Yeah, I've certainly had, more than my fair share of people questioning what I'm doing. People like, oh, are you going to make enough money out of that? People like, well, you're smart enough to do this. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. This is my career, and I'm literally here running a business and trying to make something of myself and doing all these, pretty crazy things at 16 years old. And you're telling me to go be a doctor, and I'm doing quite well for myself. So,
I love it. Go be a doctor. No, Kora, don't go be a doctor. Do what you're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sick with music, I think.
Yeah. Now, I mean, as you said, you've had a lot of supporters. I can't go past your dad being your number one supporter. I mean, he's gone out of his way to make sure that you've got everything you need, including a truck called Roadie One that's actually decked out with Kora Naughton written all over it, and all your sponsors. I mean, Justin Photo Works, Jaco Caravans, and I can't rattle them off. You can, but you've got some amazing backing.
I have had the most amazing support. My family has been incredible, my mum and my dad. My mum does a lot of work behind the scenes, isn't so much in the public eye, but Joe the roadie, however, likes to make himself known.
He does.
Like you said, he's got this truck, and he likes to use me as an excuse for buying the truck, but he wanted this truck. And we've got a lot of sponsors on board who are kind of plastered all over the truck. Justin's Photo Works, like you said, is a huge one. He's done the artwork for the back of the trucks. Most of the photos you find on my Facebook page are done by Justin. Electric Light Films is another big one. Luke is based up in Tamworth. He has been responsible for all of my video clips that you'll find, including, Ravenswood Lane, like we were talking about earlier, and my new one, My Heart to Break. And I also have a few sponsors who are local to me. So if anyone's watching from the Illawarra area, these three businesses have supported me from my music from however many years ago, showed up to my gigs and bought my merchandise and everything like that, as well as now actually sponsoring me, which I'm so thankful for. Will's Truck and Trailer, SCF Industries, and Potters Contracting have always been super supportive of my music. So I'm so lucky to have the support that I do, honestly.
You are. I mean, it's amazing. It's a hard gig to get. To get sponsorship is and it's especially hard during this time. I tell you what, I don't know how you manage it all where we're at now. Obviously, a pandemic hit, and sort of everything that you were building up for sort of just faded away, and you had to change things up and do things differently. How have you changed, and how have you kept your audience intact while the pandemic's been on?
I'm really super lucky because I was planning these few months to be working really hard on my album. Obviously, I was, I had lots of gigs planned. I've had more gigs than I can count cancelled. I'm sure every artist is exactly the same. And I've had gigs for months ahead cancelled that I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. But I am really lucky because I've been working. I've been in and out of the studio for months now, working on these new tracks, working on getting my audience new singles. Obviously, My Heart to Break has only come out just over a month ago, which was really, really good because I was a bit worried about how I was going to make it all work, and I kind of just snuck in My Heart to Break. It was during the pandemic, but it was kind of, towards the beginning of it and making it work back then. And then I released it, so I had it all ready to go, and I was able to release it at a time when I guess a lot of people weren't able to release music because of the pandemic and people hadn't been able to go into studios and things like that. I'm lucky because I've worked with Rod Motby at Tracking Dog Studios, and he has his home studio, so it's just me going in there, and I'm not surrounded by a band or anything. And I've been really lucky to be able to continue that recording. But yeah, not everyone's been so lucky, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I've been making it work, been really, really busy, which is weird. Because you think that I've been doing nothing for the last 3 months, but lots of writing and lots of recording.
Absolutely. No one would ever think that you would be doing nothing. Don't worry. I've never seen someone with so much passion as you have at such a young age.
Yeah, I'm really lucky to know what I want to do and to be set in that career path and already on my way. So, a lot of people don't get this opportunity. So if I don't make the most of it, then what's the point?
Yeah, for sure. Now, you did when the single came out, you did a virtual single launch, and you had a couple of your girlfriends behind you, and they were all answering questions about how much they knew about Kora Naughton. I tell you what, they got some of them wrong.
And they got some easy ones wrong too. I was appalled. These girls are absolutely wonderful, and I tell you what, they know a lot about their best friend, and they do know every word of my songs. So I'll let the little details. Slide. But yeah, the virtual launch was really, really different, but also it was really great because the people who you wouldn't normally be able to get to come and see something like that got to watch it. And I think it's actually probably something that I'd consider even after COVID is whether you do it in person one as well, but having that virtual launch so that everybody gets to be a part of it, because it was really special for me.
Now that's something that I do ask a few artists, because there's so much that has changed because of COVID, because of this pandemic, that has brought the country music community further together, has brought more audience to you, you know, than who would normally see you at a gig. You could have hundreds of thousands of people watching your launch, or you know, if they don't watch it on the day, they can replay it. So there's a world of more people getting to know who Kora Naughton is just through that, and I think everybody's feeling the same. But the problem that we have is that the live space is so full now that everybody's doing live feeds here and there and there and there. That's why these interviews don't go live. These interviews are pre-recorded and then they are premiered, because there's just no room in the live space, because every artist is doing something live. And oh no.
Yeah, look, it's hard when you're competing with Thomas Rhett for viewers. So yeah, look, no, it's been all right. It's really good because I've had people from England and people from the US and people from Canada all tuning into my videos, and I'm like, I don't even know how you heard about me, but thank you for tuning in, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you said, there are a mountain of artists at the moment doing live videos, and I guess we all try to support each other as much as possible, but it makes it difficult when it's like, oh, you know, I'm trying to schedule in a live video here, but these 3 other artists are also doing it at the same time, and I'm just kind of fingers crossed that some people come over and watch mine as well, you know.
Correct. And I mean, and that was the whole reason when I set up these Dax chats. It was like, I don't want to go live because everybody's going live, and I don't want to be able to be against somebody. And you know, then you've got Country Kickback that does this as well, and then you've got Housebound with Cole Finley, and he's doing this type of style thing, and then you've got the Midday Muster with Danny Young. She's doing this type of thing. So it was like, let's just not make it a live thing, because it just makes it there's too much in the space, and I don't want to subtract from the artists when they're doing their thing.
Yeah, look, it's really great that we can have this kind of access, and you know, all the things that you named are people who are doing really great work and promoting Australian country music and country music around the world that we all get to be a part of and experience that we wouldn't normally. So it's very bittersweet, but yeah, it's definitely a different way of doing things to what we're all used to, I think.
And I think moving on, we should sort of, even though once we get out of this pandemic situation, and nobody knows when we're going to get out of it because it changes day on day, but when we do get out of it, I think that we need to keep this platform or these virtual platforms, as you say, in part of what we do, because that actually builds a bigger audience than what we can get at a live show.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Like, I've gone out and I've bought all this equipment now because of, you know, COVID, and I'm trying to make my live videos a little bit more sophisticated and professional. And now that I've got it, I intend to use it, you know, COVID or no COVID.
Correct. Well, that's great. Now, do we have any plans for when the next single release is coming out? Just any secrets that you can give me?
Look, I can't give away too much, but stay tuned. I have, you know, it shouldn't be too, what month is it now? July. I'm looking, you know, a couple months down the track. It won't be too far at all. Sorry, my dog's all barking now.
That's all right. That's fine. That's
fine. It shouldn't be too long down the track. I'm really excited about this next one. It's a little bit different, but still kind of on the same wavelengths as the songs that I've had. And I think this one is probably going to hit more people in the feels. Is all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. Now, I do want to mention and thank actually Kaz Waters from Red Rebel Music and the boys Mick and the boys at Country Rocks have also been really big supporters of you.
Yeah, look, I'm so lucky, like I said, to have this is what I do, and Country Rocks have given me a huge stepping off point for my music, and they give me gigs, and I couldn't thank Mick enough for everything that he's done for me, from the festivals to supporting my first album, and everything that he does now. Obviously, the Country Rocks, you know, I've been on their Facebook page a lot and things like that. So it's really great. And then Red Rebel Music is who I'm releasing my music through now. And Kaz, she's absolutely beautiful. She's my manager, and she does so much for me. I wouldn't survive this without her, honestly.
Absolutely. It's like when I talk to her, because I'm so used to doing everything on the fly, because like whatever happens, you know. And so I send her a message. I'll send her a message and she'll say, "Oh, you'll need to flip me an email." And I'm like, "Oh, do I have to? I hate doing emails." And so yeah, but she's great. As soon as I said, "Oh, let's get Kora in for an interview," she was like bang onto it. She had a reply within a day, and I was just like, "Wow, that's great." Yeah,
She's so professional. She keeps my head on for me, so I'm really lucky.
Well, Kora, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to me, old Dax here, and I hope you do very well with. Well, this single's doing very well already. It is on the Country Thunder Network, of course, and I hope you do well with the next single, and I'm sure you will.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. All right. All right, that was Kora Naughton. This has been Dax Chats for another interview. And just do remember that her new single, My Heart to Break and Speechless, are playing on the Country Thunder Network. You can request them. You can vote for them for the Country Thunder 20. The choice is in your hands. This has been DJ Dax for Dax Chats. And until next time, we are proudly supported by Neon Horse. Bye for now.